you. Thank you to the HR Speaks for having me. Okay, my name is Victoria Okuweh. I have about 8 years experience in the human resource space. I started off my career as an HR administrator with an oil and gas firm known as Alkane's Petroleum and Gas. Afterwards, I moved into the retail luxury space, Isorai Group, where I was the group HR manager. And then currently I'm in the consulting space, Beacon Gate Limited, where I am the HR generalist and I perform all HR generalist activities, including being the lead consultant for the organization. My deliverables span from recruitment, talent management, both for my organization and then both for clients. That's what I'm currently doing. Okay, thank you very much for that question. So we all understand that the objective of employee welfare is to improve the life of working class, is to improve the life of our staff. So starting my career over 8 years ago, I have been able to manage various spans of employees. Now, the first thing is to understand what is the goal and objective of the organization. At the end of the day, as human resource professional, we bet on people. So in getting the goals of the organization, achieving the results of the organization, you have to put people into consideration. How do we make people comfortable in our organization? How do we improve their lifestyle? How do we improve their welfare? So in understanding that, then you begin to bring people personality into place. Now, for various organizations, it's actually different. You need to understand that welfare needs to be in the interest of the employee. It's a give and take situation. It's a win-win situation. If the organization is giving back, definitely the staff would give back. So the first thing we did as an organization, what I did was to understand the personalities of the personnel working for us in alignment with what the organization has. So we started coming up with programs. It could be healthcare programs, it could be individual programs, counseling programs. At some point, it got to a point where we're having some challenges in the country. I remember that as an organization, as a nation, it affected us. And we also had to bring in mental health specialists to have a one-on-one discussion with each of the staff. You know, you could pour your heart out. With this, the staff also understand that, oh, the organization have me in mind. You begin to see that staff begin to give their best to the organization. There is high employee engagement, team bonding, which brings about results. All of these are in alignment. So my journey, although started 8 years ago, where I started understanding people, where I started managing staff in Alkane's Petroleum, there are various programs the organization come up with. And of course, being in the human resource space, we had to be the one to spearhead that. So with this, it has helped us to boost the loyalty, commitment of our staff. It could be, we have done in the area of the health insurance for our staff, incentives and recognition for our staff. Now most organizations sometimes wait at the end of the year, but we made it a monthly thing to recognize our staff. Oh, for jobs well done. It could be like a treat to a very nice restaurant or a meeting with the MD or CEO of the organization. So with that, every employee started having a sense of well-being. They started having a sense of well-being. They started having a sense of belonging in the organization. Sometimes it could be in when we're taking vital decisions and then we get the employees buying into it. I remember one we recently did in our organization is to do a weekly sit out, just a weekly sit out. Oh, just tell me what's going on in your life, basically. So we go out of the office space, we do it weekly because of course we can understand the happenings all around the country. So we go out of the organization, do a sit out. Okay, just tell me, we just want to get to know ourselves better. You see staffs pouring their heart out, even with situations that are happening to them outside the spheres of the organization. So it has been a rewarding one for us. So learning and development has actually been a thing in various organizations over the years. Learning and development is a way of transferring skills or educating staff, whether formally or informally. Now, when you're doing this, there's what we call staff analysis, need analysis. You know, sometimes organization comes up with training and development that are not in line with the career path of the staff in question, or is not even related to their job deliverables. The first thing we do in supporting our staff is to know their need analysis. What career path are they taking? What role are they playing in the organization, so as not to deviate from what will actually benefit them, because this has actually helped us over time. I remember a time we had an error in just carrying out a company-wide training, and meanwhile we just felt, oh, we are trained, you know, so they had to pour back into the organization through delivering an excellent result on their job. But we realized that some of them don't even need it. Some of them are actually good at what we train them for. So the first thing we do to support our staff in learning and development is to do a need analysis. And in doing a need analysis, you have a one-on-one conversation with your staff. What is their career path? What are the areas of gap they are having in their job? What are they suffering from? Could it be internal? Could it be external? Could it be probably a boss or subordinate relationship? So you need to understand this thing so as to best align learning and development in that regard. So when we get to know what are their need analysis, then we design trainings. We design manuals and trainings that will best suit them. You know, considering the digitalized world, now training does not have to be in the four walls of the organization. So sometimes we take them out of the comfort of the organization. Sometimes we even allow, like what I did recently for our staff, after having a one-on-one conversation, I asked most of them, what do you think would be good for you? What kind of training do you think would help you perform better on the job? Of course, I discussed their need analysis. I discussed their various areas where they are lacking behind and need to improve. I discussed their skill gap. And then I asked them, okay, tell me, what training do you think would be good for you? And how can the organization support you in that regard? All of the staff wrote back to me, giving me various trainings, even down to the institutes they would like to take those trainings. And then I reported this back to the management. We had a round discussion, I made a decision, and then we actually effected such. So it made the staff very happy, because I realized that with that, each staff know their weaknesses, they know their area of strength, and they also understand that the organization is actually also going to help them. So another way we support them is by mentoring them. You know, sometimes you have to be there for them, mentor them, coach them in areas where they are having skill gap. Sometimes what we are actually planning on doing, some interning in other departments. So it's almost like a job rotation, but you're going to stay in a department for like a month or two, understand how their processes. It gives a broader perspective of what is happening in the organization, how it runs. So everybody gets a buy-in, everybody gets a full understanding of what is happening in the organization. We also design trainings. We have an annual training log, we have an annual training catalog. We have this training set out. Of course, after every appraisal, if there are skill gap, you have a one-on-one discussion with the appraising. So, but yearly we have training set out for these employees. Apart from the one-on-one conversation we have training set out for these employees, because if you want people to perform well on the job, you need to train them. Things are improving, human resources evolving, humans also, they are evolving. So daily you need to understand your staff and prepare ahead. What are the trainings that our staff will need? And then give budget in that regard. And also, I remember sending a message to my team. I said, it is time that some of you who have about 2 years experience and above need to register with a professional body, become a professional member of a particular institution, depending on your career goal also. So most of them were like, oh, it's actually been a thing, but sometimes, you know, funds is a problem. And I'm like, the organization would support you to a certain percentage because sometimes you don't want the trainings to be totally free so they don't abuse it. So me bringing this to them, you don't want your head of department to be the only professional member, certified member of a professional body. So everybody is being carried along. So this is one of the ways we actually support staff in the area of training and development. Sometimes you begin to understand that staffs even have more strength in other areas. So you can even put them to function in other capacities. Because if you don't do this, sometimes you might put someone in a capacity without giving them the platform for learning and development. And then the only thing you're seeing is their weakness. But in doing this need analysis for them, like a personnel SWOT analysis, it begins to expose you to the other strengths that they have. Thank you. Gamification is becoming more and more popular in most of our organization. It comes down to using game principles and techniques in organization. So there's actually a shift in what human resource, personnel management as a whole used to be, from the usual carrot stick approach and all of that. So there's actually a paradigm shift. It engages staffs in different ways, just like the satisfaction you get from doing games and all of that. So my opinion is that it is actually a good one if organizations understand how to use it appropriately. You cannot use gamification if your policies and structures are shaky. If the foundation is bad, gamification cannot work. This is actually a concept we see organizations like LinkedIn are beginning to use in their recruitment. Recently, I read where they did separation of teams. So if you get a particular role faster, you get some points, So there's this excitement, healthy competition, but at the back end, the organization needs to ensure that there are structures and policies that guide this, so that, because gamification is not a standalone, it needs all stakeholders involved. So my opinion is that it will work fine if there are other things that need to be put in place, if they have been put in place, because it creates for healthy competition among staff. It leads to recognition. It leads to fulfillment. When you play games, there's this fulfillment you get. There's this fun. Gone are those days where people used to believe that there's no fun in the workplace. You can actually be doing an excellent job and also getting fun from it. So I believe that gamification would work perfectly if the structures are put in place for it to work well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you.